Welcome to the Unlist. Not a very long video this time, but a bit of tough love. I feel like tough love that needs to be heard. A lot of you who subscribe to my channel, and there's not a large quantity of you, but a lot of you that do subscribe probably don't need this lesson. So you can just sit this one out, or you can sit back and watch just for chuckles. But those of you who do need this lesson, including passersby who don't subscribe, I feel like there is something to be said about the way we argue and engage each other in the online space. Not just for the online fragrance community, although in this particular case we are going to focus on the fragrance community, but this same lesson could be applied to any online space, any conversation being had anywhere. Facebook, Threads, Instagram, all the same company, right? Twitter or X if you prefer. Smaller sites that have come about recently like Blue Sky, Mastodon, Otaku, okay? If you're, a Trumplicant, then maybe you belong to Truth Social or whatever Daily Stormer's particular social media platform is. I don't care. It's all the same thing, really. These fast and loose, 200, 300 word count microblog sites where you can just say whatever you want. It just comes right out your mouth. There is a certain degree of censorship on most of these sites. So if you just say something like, completely bigoted, or something that could be a danger, pose a threat to somebody, yeah, a mod bot or something will come down and be like, you can't say that. But depending on where you are, by and large, you can just say whatever you want. However ridiculous, however hyperbolic, however completely insane it may seem, you can kind of just say what you want. And there is a power to that, okay? There is a good side to have a certain blanket of anonymity that you can speak your piece however ridiculous it may seem, right? Because in the real world, there are consequences sometimes to saying what you feel, to speaking from your whole chest. You might end up getting punched in the face by somebody at a bus stop who takes personal whatever you said, right? So having the internet as a sort of buffer where you can get up there on your soapbox and just completely scream at the sky about something just so over the top, unimportant to most people, right? Most people would think that you've gone nuts, but you want to get up there and go like this about your breadsticks, okay? Or go about car insurance, whatever. You can do it. It's the internet. I'm not criticizing that. I'm just criticizing when you engage someone in at least one-to-one. It could be a small group of people all conversing on a subject. When it's just you, when it's this old man yelling at a cloud, it's fine, okay? That's fine. People can ignore that, right? People can ignore that. But when you are entering a discussion with someone or a group of someones, and you are trying to have a discussion that's productive for all members involved, even if there are differences of opinion in that discussion, okay? If you don't keep that fundamental goal of walking away with something productive where everyone has gained, whether they walk away still disagreeing or not, if everyone hasn't gained, hasn't benefited from that conversation, that whole thing was a waste of time for everyone. A tremendous waste of time, okay? You go at somebody to argue a point, even if they don't cede your point and they still double down on whatever their opinion is, that's fine. They learned something. If you do it right, if you approach it correctly, if you just break down to ad hominem attacks, you break down to straw manning, you use lots of logical fallacies, like two very popular logical fallacies in the online fragrance community is appeal to antiquity and appeal to novelty, right? The vintage boomers versus the modern trend-setting synthetic wearing people, This is almost like the Hatfields and the McCoys, the red versus the blue. You got the guys who are like, I remember when cologne was for real men and it was all oak moss all the time and only the oldest balls are any good. Then you've got the guys over here going, oh, shut up, Grandpa. I like my ambroxan. I like my nolimbinol. I like my compliments and my projection. When, right? And never the twain shall really meet, okay? There is this huge generational divide in the online fragrance community because there has been so much change in just the last 15 to 20 years alone. So much change. It's literally just like the difference between all the people, prior to like 1980 were obsessed with big, low compression V8 cars with tons of low end torque, maybe not the most horsepower numbers wise, but so much torque to the wheels. They're just dragging this 4,000 pound car, up a quarter mile, and that to them is like peak performance. Then all the guys who were in the 80s and 90s who were used to the Hondas and Toyotas and maybe the small European BMWs and whatever, and they're used to their Boxer 4s and their straight 6s and their fuel injection and electronic control and all that stuff. So they're used to like power equating to maneuverability and the ability to stop and the ability to turn. And they're more worried about shifting gears and acceleration than they're about just going as fast as they can in a straight line. And who cares whether they have to stop? They're all about that mid-range power where they're shifting from a rolling start, because they're effectively they're racing. They're not just going in a straight line. Same sort of thing. Never the twain shall meet. The guys who are like, there is no replacement for displacement, yada, yada, yada. Catalytic converters are evil, blah, 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 blah. The people over here who are like, yeah, turbo everything, supercharge everything, ECU everything. There's no arbiter between them. And I get that. And it's technology, okay? Like with fragrance, it's technology. The rapid advancement of technology really shifts paradigms in terms of what people prefer, what they want, what they expect, okay? People who ascribe to a previous technological preset typically don't make the transfer over to the more recent one, Some folks do, there are some auto mechanics who can work on pointed condensers, but also work on fuel injectors too, right? Those people exist. But by and large, the guy who likes the first vintage bottle Koros isn't going to be the guy who likes the latest MFK release. That's not the same person. You get someone like me who does actually like both, but I am like, I am that strange outlier. So you really can't take my particular taste to account. I'm that outlier. And those of you who are like me, who are also those outliers, that I applaud you for having an open mind, but we are the minority here. Most of us that are willing to try from different ends of a spectrum, we tend to be in the minority. Most folks tribalize, secularize, double down on a particular mindset. And that's okay. They can do that, all right? Again, I'm not saying that you can't be all about naturals or all about synthetics or all about vintages or all about niche or whatever. You're allowed to be. It's your money. You can enjoy what you want. My problem here is the way you go about communicating this to people and the way you go about arguing your case. It all circles back to the way you approach a debate, the way you approach a discussion. If it's not a discussion that everyone can walk away from and benefit in some way, you are wasting your time, not just their time. And the fact that every conversation these days, it feels like, correct me if I'm wrong, but every conversation now feels like a battle. It doesn't feel like people are actually engaging to walk away bettered by it. It feels like they're looking to win. They're looking to smite a foe, to slay a dragon, to throw a burnt husk corpse upon the mountainside, smote upon the mountainside like Gandalf slaying the Balrog of Morgoth, upon the mountainside, just defeat your enemy, walk away victorious, right? Like we're playing D&D or something, we're playing Dungeons and Dragons, gotta defeat the evil. That's the way the conversations are approached now. And I'm like, for one thing, if you are trying to belong to a community, treating every conversation like a battle, there needs to be a clear winner or a clear loser, and you need to actually cast down somebody, in the process. That destroys the community. That creates what? Anarchy, right? We all separate. We all go our separate ways. We all huddle together, We create our little echo chambers, our little think tanks. And instead of having a large community with diverse opinions and diverse perspectives, we have dozens and dozens and dozens of little isolated pockets where everyone hates everyone else, everyone can't stand, wants to punch everyone else in the face, right? Stomp each other out. Yet they all enjoy the same thing. Somehow, they couldn't be further apart from each other, even though they're all technically in the same place, consuming the same thing, and are interested in the same thing, they couldn't be further apart. And it's that cultural division which results from this combative way of approaching all conversations, this combative way to approach all discussion. It really eats me up. It really, really eats me up. Like, I feel like you shouldn't get that angry. You know, we're not talking about human rights here. We're not talking about religious freedom here. We're not talking about anything of any real import whatsoever, okay? We're talking about opinions over whatever, video games, cars, smelly water, sports. Your favorite color, I don't care. It's minutia in the grand scheme of things. And yes, I am belittling your interests, and I am trying to trivialize your life's passion. But you got to bear with me here. There's a reason why I'm doing that. And in so doing, I'm also kind of belittling myself because I'm there with you, right? I am not free from sin. I am not casting stones here. But my point is, these life or death arguments being had over things like perfume, like music, like movies, it just, like I said, it's a zero-sum game. There are no winners, okay? There are no losers. But you treat it like a zero-sum game, and you walk away with everyone losing. So you think you've defeated somebody in a battle of wits or whatever. You have proven them irrevocably incorrect forever. They should hang their head in shame and walk away, right? Leave the community behind. Throw all their bottles of perfume in the trash and burn them, okay? They need to just quit perfume because they are so wrong. There are multiple levels of wrong. Their wrongness has reached new depths of being wrong, right? And I'm like, why? Why? Why do it? Like I said, you're only hurting yourself. You think you're hurting them, but you're hurting yourself because you're isolating yourself from everyone else. Maybe the 4 other people that think exactly like you. Like I said, these little pockets form. Everyone kind of goes or like a seal when they're thrown a fish, okay? So you're in this little group of like yes men that all think the same. And there's nothing gained from that either, because when you cloister off into people who are basically just like you, it's like standing in a room full of clones. You stand in a room full of clones, all of you have the same opinion, all of you dress the same, all of you sound the same, all of you look the same. If that's not madness, I don't know what else is. I would go insane if I was stuffed in a room full of 20 me's. Like a room full of me's, and I could only talk to myself. That's it. I would lose my mind. So once again, I don't get it. So here's the thing, guys. 2 ways to avert this, all right? 2 ways to avert this. Very simple, very easy. We can call this video quits. I'll be done yelling at people for being bad boys and bad girls or whatever. 1, you don't need to come to the defense of your tastes, ever. You never need to justify what you like to anyone else. You never need to defend the honor of an inanimate object. Here is a bottle of Pellegrino. If someone tells me they don't like Pellegrino, okay, that's fine. You don't like Pellegrino. But if I'm drinking it, then it doesn't have any bearing on me, okay? You stating to me that you don't like Pellegrino doesn't make me feel like I should run out and defend the honor of Pellegrino. To draw swords and duel you to the death over the honor of Pellegrino because you like LaCroix instead. Or you like Perrier or whatever, Liquid Death, whatever your favorite flavor or brand of bubbly water is, because you disagree with my preference, I must smote your corpse upon the mountainside. Oh! It's like, no. You just drink whatever water you want, and I'll go drink my water. I don't need to defend my tastes to you, sir. I don't. And I don't. And you can, maybe in the early days I did, but we all live and we all grow, and I've learned from my own mistakes. I don't anymore. I don't do it. If you know me on Base Notes and you interact with my account, you know that the last thing I do is I don't defend my taste to anyone. You know, if I say, oh, I'm wearing Avon today, and someone's like, oh, Avon sucks, it's the worst thing ever. If anybody wears Avon, they're a complete and total moron and should go die. I'm just like, okay, thank you. And that's it. I don't care. So, you should do that too. Someone tries to read you the riot act because you say you like something, and they need to make it their business to say, let me tell you why that's bullshit, why you can't like that thing. You should just be like, okay, and then go do something else. Like, let them think you're listening, but maybe you're going in and doing something. It's all texting, right? It's not, you're not stuck in a room with them while they actually talk to you, so you can just kind of let them go. You don't need to dignify their stupidity with a response, right? They're a waste of time, okay? Number 2, okay? That's the first one. You don't need to come to the defense of your tastes. Not necessary. If I pick on you, if I make fun of you, if I'm like, oh, those hipsters and their naturals are at it again, or all those compliment getters, they're at it again, or all the frag bros, oh, they're up in arms again. Oh, look at these vintage boomers over here, they're at it again. It's like, you can either laugh at that, because I like to poke fun at things. You can take it personal and get butt mad if you want to, okay? You can take it personally, you can come at me, but you also can just be like, okay, well, he's an asshole, I don't agree with him, and that's it. You can unsubscribe to my channel, you can walk away. You don't have to defend something. First of all, if you don't know me, then you should know that I like to say a lot of stuff to get a rise out of people anyway. I love to poke the bear. I love to make fun of things. I watch Monty Python. I watch Blackadder. I watch Mad TV, Saturday Night Live, Red Dwarf, all that satirical comedy, Terry Gilliam, okay, Lorne Michaels, Kids in the Hall. I grew up on that kind of comedy. So that's my kind of, Mel Brooks, okay, David Zucker is another one. That's my Kentucky Fried Movie. That's my kind of comedy. So when you hear me make fun of something, that's the perspective that I'm coming at it from. Zany, wacky, parody, satire, that's what I like, okay? Okay, so you can't take what I say all that super serious if I'm picking on you, okay? I'm just taking the piss. That's what I'm doing, okay? That's what people like me do. Number 2. We're back on number 2. Let people like things. I know that might sound contradictory because I just said I make fun of people, but I make fun of people, but I let them like a thing. I don't say you can't like that in my presence. You're not allowed to enjoy that around me, you know? I don't do that. I'm not the, let me tell you why that's bullshit. I'm not that person, okay? And that's the thing. When those people come at you, you ignore them. But then, same thing in reverse, you don't be that person either. You know, if someone says why something you like sucks, whatever. But then you be better and you not do that to somebody else. You don't say, okay, look, he's wearing Kenneth Cole. I think it's a garbage brand. I think it's a cheap brand. It's always in Marshalls. It's always in Ross. Okay, it sucks. You can think that, but if you have no real reason to engage that person who might be like in love, Kenneth Cole could be their favorite brand. They own every Kenneth Cole fragrance, right? Every Calvin Klein, or every Perry Ellis, whatever these mid-tier designers, right? They have every Perry Ellis fragrance ever. If you have no reason to, like, you know, drop your pants and go and just crap on them, then don't. You don't have a reason to. You don't be like, oh, okay, so you like Tommy Hilfiger and all of the 5 million flankers that he has to the original fragrance, all the different Tommy Cologne, Summer Breeze, Tommy Cologne, Eau de Prep, whatever. They all suck. They're all cheap. They all got thrown to Marshalls or whatever, TK Maxx. You have no reason to put that out there if you see someone enjoying it. Like, okay, let me just do this. Let me just roll them down and be like, and just, why? Why do that? What do you gain from that? What do they stand to gain from that? What does anyone stand to gain from that? If you want to like joke about Tommy Hilfiger or Kenneth Cole, whatever, you can joke about it if it's relevant, okay? Keyword here, keyword, if it's relevant. Is it relevant to make that comment? Because if it isn't, then all you're doing is being a dick. That's it, you're just being a dick. There's no reason to be a mean person like that, to be a prude, okay? There's a difference between satire, okay, and parody and bullying someone. Difference in tone of voice change right there. Parody, satire, being a total goofball, whatever, being a little bit of an asshole, whatever, but then actually bullying someone. Just straight up being mean for no reason. Because it makes you feel good about yourself because you have character flaws that probably need addressing. So there you go. Don't do that, all right? And we're done. You've survived the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Be better to one another, okay? Approach conversations and debates constructively, or don't bother. Don't waste your time. This has been the On List, and I hope you enjoyed it.